Hey everybody, welcome to Soundwaves TV. It is our semi-annual covers edition. We know you love this as much as we do, and we've got some really, really cool ones. It's also 40 years since the release of Prince's 1999 and Michael Jackson's Thriller. We're going to unpack the legacy of those two legendary albums, and we're going to deconstruct why it is so darn hard to do a decent Prince cover. This is Soundwaves TV. How you doing? Welcome to Soundwaves TV. Dennis Willis, Morris Knight.
Hey.
And it is time for our semi-annual covers edition.
Love it.
And you know, the whole covers thing, it's like sometimes they're faithful, sometimes they're not faithful. They go against the grain, they compliment. That's why these shows are so much fun.
It really is, because, you know, you think about covers and a lot of times people, you know, fall into that purist category. Mm-hmm. Don't touch my favorite song. Right. And then you actually hear it, and some people have done some wonderful things with covers. You know, so you never just throw it out just because you haven't.
No. Yeah. Well, full disclosure, you know, we've been having this conversation internally for like 3 months because we knew this anniversary was coming up. This album, Prince's 1999, and this album,
Michael Jackson's Thriller,
40-year anniversary, both with released within 3 weeks of each other in November of 1982. What did this mean to a young Morris Knight?
What they meant to me is, especially Prince in 1999, was this was going to be a tape that was not going to leave my boombox rotation forever.
Wow.
You know, out of all of Prince's albums, this is still my number one favorite Prince album. And of course, he's done a lot of great stuff, you know. But just, I love the jammy jam session sound and stuff on it. I love the rock element that you get from Little Red Corvette. I love the quirky little thing that you get from Delirious, and of course the big monster, you know, apocalyptic jam, you know, 1999, all the way down to the intro. I loved that intro. When I popped that in my boombox,
don't worry,
I won't hurt you. I was like, yeah. And it's crazy because, like we were saying earlier, Dennis, this stuff, both of these albums come out at a time when we're really a lot of the world is not paying attention to what's happening right here.
Yeah,
you know?
No, it's I Love Rock and Roll, it's Devo, it's Eye of the Tiger, it's all that kind of late, you know, post-70s, early 80s.
Yeah,
you know, kind of
and
like,
New Wave is making it, you know, big splash as well,
bet.
You know.
But they changed the game. And the thing is, like, you know, especially in the case of like Michael Jackson's Thriller, we were talking before about how...
dope.
Yeah, well, I couldn't find my other one.
That's all right. This one is dope.
Yeah.
I see that. Yeah.
You know, and it really did change everything because you're talking about messing around with gender.
Yeah.
We're both kind of feminine.
Yeah.
You're messing around with styles. All of a sudden, there's a Eddie Van Halen on a soul record. Yeah. You know? And it's just like, and it really kind of made, especially, you know.
I couldn't wait to tell all my rocker friends that little factoid. No way, dude.
I couldn't either. Yeah, totally. But that's the thing. I mean, like, these albums they were kind of disruptors. Yeah. And they were slow, like, you know, like they were kind of like under the radar disruptors where all of a sudden you're like, what am I listening to? Like, this is completely different, and like everything from this point forward is just going to shift.
Right.
You know?
Right. I absolutely love that about both of these albums. Again, you know, I tend to lean a little bit more to the Prince thing because I was always a huge Prince fan of life, as well as Michael Jackson. But just, again, you know, going back to the authenticity of these records.
Right.
Of course, you do have more rockers on this album. People don't realize guys from Toto on this record. Right. We find out later on that Eddie Van Halen is on the record. But you don't make decisions like that because you're trying to become number one. Right. You're making decisions like that because that's what the song calls for. That would be cool if we could get Eddie Van Halen or someone like him to do a solo right here. Let's just make that happen because that's what that's. And
that wasn't happening at the time. You had your lanes. You had your soul lane and your rock lane and your pop lane, which was a whole different lane.
I mean, you know, Lionel Richie tend to ignore it when he starts hanging out with Kenny Rogers. But
that's true.
The Commodores hated that.
Yeah. That's
you
true.
make one more country every song on this funk record. That's it.
Back to authenticity. Both of these artists, though, they had really long, impactful, influential careers.
Yeah.
There was a moment, though, and they both hit it at the same time, I think.
Yeah.
That early 90s kind of stretch.
Yeah.
And even going back to Bad a little bit, I was feeling it like late 80s with Parade for Prince. There was that moment where they're like, we need the pop song. We have to keep this train a-going.
Well, you have to remember it's been 6 to 8 years between the late 80s and then when these records and then the follow-up to this one here for Prince right on the heels of Purple Rain, big movie and all that. Right. Michael Jackson takes a little bit more time, but they both start releasing what they hope to become big records in the late 80s. The New Jack Sound is coming out like you were saying. Right. And that's when you start hearing Michael Jackson. Actually, Michael Jackson went right after it. He got Teddy Riley, hey man, throw something down for me,
but when you listen to it was Dangerous. Was it Dangerous? No, it was
Bad.
It was after Bad.
Dangerous.
It was Dangerous.
Dangerous is after Bad.
Right.
Yeah.
So you listen to Dangerous and you listen to Prince's early 90s stuff. Yeah. And they both sound really dated. They both sound really 1991.
Right.
And this stuff's timeless.
Right. It really is. And that's a trip, Dennis, because when people think of putting on a Michael Jackson or Prince record, they never go for the late 80s, early 90s stuff that they put out, and not for lack of trying. These guys put their heart and soul into those records as well. Diamonds and Pearls, Dangerous, Bad, all of that, and stuff moving beyond that. But when you think about these guys right here, it's these two albums.
This is the moment.
That's it right there. Even personally, when it comes to Prince, it's late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s, and once we get to Kiss, I'm good.
Well, I'm weird. I'll put on Around the World in a Day every.
That's a great record.
It is a great record.
Yeah.
And let's just for a second talk about the balls on this guy to come out with the biggest funk album ever, and then follow that with a rock album and a movie, Purple Rain, and then follow that with this crazy ass experiment. And Purple Rain wasn't even done yet. There was still a song in the top 10.
That used to make me mad about Prince. I was like, man, are you really not gonna wait for the rest of the album to kind of die out a little bit before you bang us over the head with it?
3 more singles off of that.
Warner Brothers like, bro, we need you to slow down. We're trying to milk this for all it's worth, and there's a lot left, and you're already doing your thing with this whole next album.
Oh, yeah. But Around the World in a Day was brilliant.
It's a great album. I love that.
Like, I can see why he sees that moment. You know
Pop
what I mean?
Life, yeah.
Yep.
I dug that record because, again, going back to Around the World in a Day, you could definitely tell he wasn't chasing. That
was him. He was releasing. Like, here I am.
Yeah, exactly. What else can I do?
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
I dug that. So that was a lot of fun. Moving on to the next video.
Let's do it. This is not Prince or Michael Jackson. This is actually a song you're probably sick of because you watched Stranger Things and hear it all the time on the radio. Do you guys play this on the?
Yeah, you know what? We did not happen to play this one.
Wow.
Because I said so.
But who'd you bribe?
I told him we're not playing it.
We're picking up, but of course it's a great song. And if any song from this era should come back, it's this one.
It's all good.
It's Kate Bush is Running Up That Hill. You might have figured that out. This is a great cover, actually, from a band called Our Last Night on Soundwaves TV.
If I only could make a deal with God, and I get him to swap our places. It doesn't hurt me to wanna feel how it feels. It's you. It's you and me. It's you and me. It won't be unhappy. If I only could make a deal with God, and I get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that building. If I only could. It's you. It's you and me. You won't be unhappy. Come on, baby. Come on, darling. Let me steal this moment from you now. Come on, baby. Come on, darling. Let me steal this moment from you now. Come on, angel. Come on, darling. Let's exchange the experience. If I only could make a deal with God, and I get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, with no problem. With no problem. And if I only could make a deal with God, I'd get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, with no problem.
What's up? Morris Knight here on Soundwaves TV. It is our special covers edition, and we're having a whole lot of fun with this here. Hey, we've got some great stuff coming up. In fact, my man Sean Bivens is going to join us in the studio, and that's going to be a lot of fun. He's got some great stories, so we're going to dig into that. Before we get to that, we've got something very, very cool for you, rather. Okay, so Depeche Mode is definitely one of my favorite bands of all time, but here comes a cover from a Swedish glam metal artist. He's covering one of my favorite Depeche Mode songs. His name is Zinny Zan, and this is It's No Good. Check this out.
I'm gonna take my time. I got all the time in the world to make you mine. It is written in the stars above, the gods decree. You'll be right here by my side, right next to me. You can run, but you cannot hide. Don't say you want me, don't say you need me, don't say you love me. It's understood. Don't say you're happy out there without me. I know you can't be, 'cause it's no good. I'll be fine. I'll be waiting patiently till you see the sign. love me. It's understood. Don't say you're happy out there without me. I know you can't be, 'cause it's no good.
Hey, want to watch Soundwaves on your big screen? Head over to the Roku channel store and download our free app, Soundwaves TV. You'll get every brand new episode and archives of every past season. Do it now. We've got your next party covered.
This portion of Soundwaves TV is sponsored by Longboard, the coolest hidden gem on the coast. A world-class music venue with a neighborhood vibe. Stop by for a drink or check out an awesome show. For more information or to get tickets to an upcoming event, go to thelongboardbar.com.
If
you didn't come to party, don't bother knocking on my door. Got a line in my pocket, and baby, it's ready to roll. Everybody's got a bomb, we could all die any day. But before I let that happen, I dance my life away. Hey, hey, say 2000 party over, oops, out of time. So tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999. They say 2000 party over, oops, out of time. So tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999. 1999. 1999. 1999.
Welcome back to Soundwaves TV. Dennis Willis Morris Knight with the one and only Mr. Shawnee B. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man.
Sean's in the house.
Word.
Hey, man. Good to see you, brother.
Tword.
Tword.
Good to see you.
When we were putting the show together and we were like, we got to talk about Michael Jackson's Thriller and Prince's 1999, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, there's only one person who could really join us for this conversation, and that's you, sir.
Yeah.
So, you know, not only what you do with one of your many, many bands right now, in terms of all the funk stuff that's Minneapolis, you know, styled and all that.
Sure.
But you actually, we're going to talk about it later on. You actually had kind of a Prince close encounter.
Sure.
Later on, but let's talk about. We've been talking about our influences. How did these albums hit you when you were a youngin'?
When I was young, and I would say probably the first time I got a taste of Prince was my cousin Vicky had bought the For You album, I think.
Oh.
And she brought it over, and I was like, this dude's dope right here. And then the Prince album, and then of course Dirty Mind and all the rest of it. And I was just like, this dude's got everything in one package. He's
nice.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Most of us rocker dudes came to it through Controversy.
Right.
And that was the one where you're just like, there's something going on.
Yeah.
There's something here.
Yeah.
And then when, of course, 1999 came out, it's just like, all right, I'm just gonna fight my rocker friends because this is badass. Like I have to, you know. Yeah. And the thing is, you know, these albums mess with everything. And by the way, I want to point out that they both had kind of slow starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like Thriller got off with The Girl Is Mine.
Yeah, really.
You know, nobody really thinks about that. We think of all the big hits, but you know, like that was the first single.
And that's a song I still miss to this day.
Do you?
Like I think it's underrated. I think The Girl Is Mine was a great song, of course. And you know, every kid that had that album, of course, had to you know, sing along with the monologue between Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. You know, after loving me, she said she couldn't love another. Go ahead, Sean.
Wow. I can't. You know what? I won't even do the Michael Jackson voice out of just respect for Michael Jackson and his family, because I instantly was about to be like, I can't do the mic. I can't do it, man.
I don't believe it.
Go on, they're not watching. They're not watching.
Nobody's looking. Oh my!
All I took away from that song was "I'm a lover, not a fighter."
Yes.
I've been saying that for 40 years. So you know. But yeah. So when 1999 hit, and it was kind of a slow climb too, because as we were talking before, it was Little Red Corvette was actually the first time that really went over the hump. While Little Red Corvette was taking off, Prince realized that was his moment.
Yeah.
And all the other stuff he had going on.
Yeah. I mean, for me, you know, for me that was like his. I hate to say this, some people might get mad, but that was his way of appeasing Warner's by, let me give them something commercial to work. He's like, I'm going to write a pop song, a crossover with 1999 and Little Red Corvette. To me, it wasn't my favorite Prince stuff. You know, my favorite Prince stuff is like Dirty Mind and Controversy. Just the raw, uncut, more punk rock.
Yeah.
That energy, because that's where I come from. You know, I turned a lot of my metal friends on to Prince with songs like Bambi and you know, all my guitar playing buddies. So listen to this dude play guitar.
Right.
Listen to I'm Yours for you.
Yeah.
But that pop. That just let us know that, you know, if he wants to turn on the pop machine, it's not a problem.
Right.
It's easy. It's like he go to sleep, wake up, and write a pop hit.
Especially when you consider all the songs that he wrote that other artists recorded. You know, some he meant for them to do that.
Right.
And some they just like, oh, wow. You know, I remember, you know, okay, so we all, you know, had the second Prince album, which is just called Prince, right?
Right.
And there's a song on there that we, you know, just like any of the big hits, you know, I Feel For You, you know, Bambi.
Right.
When We're Dancing Close and Slow, which is just a slow jam he never released as a single. Right. But a lot of people were blown away to find that Shaka Khan's I Feel For You was actually already written and recorded by Prince you know, 5-6 years earlier in 79 on the Prince album.
Yeah, and I was like, that's not it. I'm like, when I first heard the Shaka covers, I'm like, oh, no. No. That's like sacrilege, bro.
Right,
Don't do that to me.
It was hard. You know, I struggled because it was like, man, it's so dope. And I was one of those kids that was such a Prince purist that I didn't want to like it.
Yeah.
But I was like, you just got to call it like it is.
Right,
you know,
right.
someone was able to take a Prince idea and build upon it in such a unique way.
He turned it into a breakdance song.
Yeah, really.
Which was cool as an ex-breaker.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, when Shabba-Doo was in the video and everything. Rest in peace, Shabba-Doo. You know, but like, I was like, oh yeah, I got to listen to the Prince version.
Just to cleanse.
But there were so many styles. I mean, you look at like a Bangles Manic Monday, and you look at you know all that stuff that was
Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was the family. He gave that song to the family first, which is still my favorite version.
The family's version of
absolutely, hands down. I like it better than Prince's version.
I love that album.
Great.
Yeah, I love the secret the secret gems of Prince music that you'll find on you know on so many people's you know albums. Cyndi Lauper, When You Were Mine.
Oh
you know,
yeah.
When I heard that, I was blown away by that because it's not like she made this big departure away from the original arrangement. It was just. You know, here's you know Cyndi Lauper, girls just wanted to have fun, and then all of a sudden she found this album cut. That was never even a single, right?
No,
I don't believe
it's probably
so,
my top one of my top 3 favorite Prince songs of all time.
Right, from Dirty Mind.
From Dirty Mind, a perfect record.
Yeah,
front to back.
Yeah.
I'm going on a road trip tomorrow. You guys are going to make me go back into that old catalog because I kind of start with Controversy and then I move forward and I stop around Parade. Man. I hop around a little bit.
Yeah. It slows down for a lot of us after all that, you know.
Yeah.
I remember when Prince first came out, I had already, you know, I'm a little kid and I'd already have, you know, my favorite guy. And he actually came out just a few months before Prince, and it's Rick James.
Okay.
And I remember early on, you know, Rick James kind of owned it.
Man, he killed it. In the early 80s, he was the man.
Goodness, you know, because both their debut albums come out at the same time. Okay, you know, 78 with You and I and Mary Jane and I think was Fire and Desire wasn't on the debut.
No. I think that came later. That's with
Tina Marie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a little later. Yeah.
So it was a struggle because for the early years, I was like, man, you know, is it Prince? Is it Rick? Is it Prince? Is it Rick? Because they were both killing it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, Prince went out just because. Actually, did he?
Right.
You know, he stuck to it where Rick got caught up in some other stuff, you know.
Yeah. Prince was focusing on the pop
I dug
crowd
that.
too.
Yeah, yes,
You know,
yes.
Rick was going to keep it 100% funky the whole time.
100%,
He wasn't selling out for nobody.
Right.
And hence no videos on MTV.
And that's right. It's like, Rick, you can't say that if you really want the video on MTV. You can't cuss them out, man.
He's like, I don't care. It's
Unless
glitter and braids.
they're Neil Young. Unless they're Neil Young.
Right,
You know.
right.
Right. Yeah, Neil can get away with it.
Exactly. All right, so I want to hear some of your Prince stories, and I want to hear some of your Prince stories. I
only have one.
I know.
Me too, basically.
Back to Michael. It's so hard to actually find covers that do these songs justice, and but I think we found one. So check this out. This is Brown Sugar, and probably my favorite song off of Thriller actually is "Wanna Be Starting Something." Check it out.
I say you wanna be started something, you got to be started something. I say you wanna be started something, you got to be started something. The high get over, too low get on down. You're stuck in the middle, where the pain is tonight. The high get over, too low get on down. Stuck in the middle, where the pain is tonight. Took my baby to the doctor with a fever and nothing he found. But it told me at the screen, this chest she had a breakout. Someone so much crying, talk my baby crying, talk a screaming lying. Say you just wanna be started something. I say you wanna be started something, you got to be started something. I say you wanna be started something, you got to be started something. The high get over, too low get on down. You're stuck in the middle, where the pain is thunder. The high get over, too low get on down. You're stuck in the middle, and the pain is thunder. Pretend that you are no good, but you're always off to no good. You really can make him hater, so you can't become a racer. You'll be always crying, stop my baby crying, hustling, stealing, lying. You got my baby crying. So you wanna be started something, you got to be started something. Say you wanna be started something, you got to be started something. But the high get over, too low get on down. Stuck in the middle, but the pain is thunder. The high get over, too low get on down. You're stuck in the middle, but the pain is thunder. You're a vegetable, you're a vegetable. Said I hate you, you're a vegetable. You're a buffet, you're a vegetable. Lay it over you, you're a vegetable. I say you wanna be started something, you got to be started something. And high get over, too low get on down. You're stuck in the middle, but the pain is thunder. The high get over, too low get on down. You're stuck in the middle, but the pain is thunder. So lift your head up high, scream out to the world. I know I'm someone now, and let the truth unfold. Don't stop believing me, so let you believe in you. So I believe in me, so you believe in you. Help me say, mama say, mama say, mama kusa. 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 Mama say, mama say, mama kusa.
sa, mama kusa. Mama say, mama sa, mama kusa. Mama say, mama sa, mama kusa.
Check out Soundwaves TV on all our social media accounts. Deleted scenes, extended interviews, the latest announcements, and official playlist. The Bay Area plays here. Hit us up everywhere at Soundwaves TV.
Closed captioning for Soundwaves TV is brought to you by Green Room Music Center, offering rock camp, music lessons, a drum shop, and rehearsal spaces for rent. For more information, go to greenroommusiccenter.com.
Hey everybody, we are back here on Soundwaves TV. We are cutting it up about Prince and MJ and 1999 and Thriller and all that stuff. And I've known you for a while. I've known you for a little less time. You both have one thing in common. I'm going to let you go first. Tell me your Prince story.
Okay, so so I was doing double duty. I was in a band called Bliss at the time with Larry Graham's son and ex Tony members. And it was kind of like the New Slime, the Family Stone, of course, and I was also playing guitar for Larry Graham at the time. So
awesome,
and Larry was playing bass.
That's just awesome,
Prince.
just right there, Sean. That's just you don't just get to float that out and keep going.
Right. I'm the same.
That's all good.
Yeah, 90. This was probably around 96, 97.
Okay.
And Larry was playing bass for Prince at the time.
Okay.
So we would get to see him out on the Shoreline or whatever. Then they do a smaller show, and then Prince was on tour, and Larry was doing a show, and I think we were playing at the Independent in San Francisco, and we didn't know Prince was there. We knew his buses were there, whatever. Larry's bus was there, but Prince was up in the balcony, and he's watching us play and everything, and it was really, so we didn't get super nervous or anything because we didn't know he was even there. So
okay, good.
So we do our Bliss set, and then the same band stays up, and we play with Larry for a set. So we did the whole thing, and it was a good show and everything, and then. The word got back to me that Prince is auditioning guitar players, and then his guy said, "Hey man, you should come down to Minneapolis and and try out." Right?
That's cool.
And then they gave me all the rules, right?
Oh, wow, Prince rules.
Ooh, man. Well, first they tell you how much he pays, and I think it's almost like $10,000 a week or something.
Dang, all right.
Whether you're touring or not, it was some ridiculous amount of money.
Wow.
On just crazy amount of money. But you have to live in Minneapolis. You can't have a serious relationship or be married and all this stuff, and you have to live in Minneapolis. Where it's absolutely freezing.
I was just gonna say, doesn't it kind of snow there a little bit?
A little bit. Yeah.
Didn't you say that one of the other things you had to learn 100 songs 3 different ways?
Yeah, you have to learn all this material, but you have to learn it a bunch of different ways. You got to do like a rock way, a funk way, and like a jazz way. And the rock and the funk stuff I can handle.
Sure.
But the jazz thing, just
because if he's on stage and he calls out like Delirious country version, you got to be ready.
Yes,
right,
that's right. And
it's a banjo.
And the set list changes constantly. So it was just it was out of my wheelhouse. Those dudes are the people that play with him are just
have never come up for air.
Man, they're just insane freaking
These
players.
guys have been doing what they've been doing since day one. No day job, no nothing. Just
this is what they do.
Not a blade of grass cut for chores when they were kids.
Yeah. And I can't read music, so it was going to have to be but. Another buddy of mine went out and tried out. It's another story, but whatever. He didn't make it.
Stay tuned too.
But yeah, that was
cool.
It. Yeah, and it was
nice.
It was cool to get to see him perform up close. I seen we all hung out at Slim's and got to hang out on the.
Did you actually audition for him, or you just once you saw the rules?
Once I saw the list,
so
I'm like, I'm like, I got it.
That's a trip because we've always heard these crazy stories about Prince and his demands for his bands and stuff, but I've never actually got to talk to someone one-on-one who was like, nah, dude, that stuff is for real.
Serious
Prince
business.
is on another level.
You belong to that dude when you work for him.
Wow.
You work.
Because when that 5 a.m. phone call comes, you got to be ready to.
You're
wake up
rehearsing it.
right now.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Yikes.
Too much for me, man. Woo. In hindsight, though, I wish I would have at least went out there and tried out just to see where I stood as a musician at that time. I was in my 20s.
Oh wow, dude, you were already balling then, Sean.
So I was playing with Larry, but Larry's really laxed. You know, he you know, even if it's not exactly how it's supposed to be, he's like,
He's
sounds
all right.
good enough. Just
Okay, cool.
Do that, yeah.
All right.
But Prince is a whole different animal.
Nice.
Wait,
nice.
stop.
I never went out there. So,
Sean,
you know,
play that part again for yourself.
yeah.
You're right. No,
That's not it.
Let me show you how. Give
Right.
me your guitar.
Yeah.
I've seen him do
man.
that.
And he
do
will
that on
take
stage.
he will take your instrument and show you how to play it.
Oh,
No matter
nice.
what that instrument is, whether it be drums, bass, keys, whatever.
Wow.
I've heard dudes tell me that, oh yeah, kids, move over. Like this, bro.
There's
Wow.
I heard a couple of weeks ago on YouTube, somebody posted an audio clip of him like playing a song and directing the band on how to play the song while they were playing it. Like, you come in, you do
Yeah.
this. I forget what it was. It might have been Delirious, but it was like 83 era.
Right.
And it's like 12 minutes long. And it's just
Yeah.
and it's just hearing him like, you do that. Nope. Try it again. Do this. You come in there. 1, 2, 3, boom. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, whoa, like in real time. It's super
Just
cool.
firing it out
If I
there.
find the link, I'll send it to you guys.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
What's your story, Morris?
Nowhere near as glamorous as Sean's. But the one time I, got to actually meet Prince, and it's unfortunate we couldn't take a picture because everybody wants to take a picture, and so his handler's like, nah, man, no pictures. But what he was doing was, this is in the late 90s, 99 or 2000. He was working on a new album or something like that. I think he was still in between record labels, and he had this idea that he would come to the Bay Area, which is a place around the world that he seems to love the most,
Yeah.
or at least one of his favorite places. So he was working on a new album, and he wanted to get all the radio stations together so he could tell them how he wanted to release this record. Long story short, he gets a bunch of us from several different radio stations in a room, and he's telling us, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the album, then we're going to send the masters to you guys, and then you guys are going to play what songs that you want on it. Yeah, that's that look right there. And then when you guys start, playing, the favorite tracks on the album, when listeners call in and say they like it, and you guys want to sell it to them, go ahead and sell it to them, and then send me back the money.
What?
And like, I'm a diehard Prince fan from day one.
Wow.
But you're telling me the story, and I'm also a grown ass man,
Right.
and I'm like, bro. That's rich.
Yeah.
I had two questions for him because we all got to kind of have an interaction with him. So I was like, first of all, I don't know, Sean, and maybe I'm just naive, man, but I was like, man, the record company, Warner Brothers, this is a few years after the whole slave thing and all that. I don't know, man. There's a part of me that thinks that, would you be Prince in the sense that we know it now, which a lot has to do with Purple Rain and the movie. Would you be all that without Warner Brothers? I was worried.
Absolutely not.
Right. Yeah.
So is it fair for me to feel some kind of way that, man, they were good to you, man?
Yeah.
They did something for you that they didn't. Michael Jackson got a 13-minute thriller.
Yeah.
Look what you got, you know?
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Is like his record deal was unprecedented for that. You have to understand that he didn't have a hit for like 4 records.
And they were patient
And
through
they didn't
Dirty
drop
Mind
it.
because
Yeah.
not everyone heard that right away.
Yeah, they didn't. They wasn't filming that.
Yeah,
they
you
were
know.
like, we need something that we can market and sell to white America and everybody else that's not your fan necessarily.
Right.
So up from the first record all the way up till Little Red Corvette, there's really no hits.
That's right.
We heard it on radio, right?
Right.
We had the records,
Right.
But nobody else in Middle America knew who he was.
That's right.
And they gave him a great, and they let him produce everything.
Yeah.
By himself,
Yeah.
and at 18 or whatever it was.
Was it true that they were trying to get
Maurice White.
there you go.
Maurice White, yeah. And he was like-
and that would have happened. That would have been fine.
Yeah, and it'd have been like Prince, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
And the emotions.
Yeah, it would have been a different sounding record for
it
sure.
really would. It really would.
No diss to Maurice White because he's a genius in his own right.
right.
Great producer,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't have sounded like
No,
what
it
we have,
wouldn't have done what it did. So all of that to say, I was maybe able to engage Prince, and I'm like, well, man, all these other artists that are kind of A-list like yourself are still with their record company, still with their contracts and all that. And they seem to be kind of cool with it. It seems to be okay.
Did you actually say that?
I
to
actually
him?
said that.
Really?
to him. And it was cool because the way he responded was, well, yeah, they're happy with their thing, but I want to do something else. And he just kind of glazed over it because the way I formed the question to him, it was kind of hard to get out of that. It's like, man, it's like that's like an impossible thing. And I know I'm talking to a guy who's done away with all things impossible. So if he can think it, he can be it.
Right.
But here's where we kind of draw the line a little bit.
Yeah,
That
was a little bit. I was asking a little bit.
Yeah, it's just a tad. But what I didn't get to, but at least I could say that. Hey, that was the time that.
That's pretty cool. That's dope.
Actually, I had to say something. It was funny because again, I'm in a room full of just radio industry people.
Right.
So when I say that to them, it's not a typical fan question. Oh,
well, I'm sure at some level maybe he respected you for coming at him like that, because like everybody else would have just been, I'm such a fan.
Right. Yes.
That'd have been dope. It would have just been a big argument.
Yeah, right.
He might have been sitting in a
Let me tell you, right.
He's on his way back to the place in the purple limo, like sitting back there going,
Who is that guy?
Yeah. I'm buying a radio station and firing on
right, no, Morris got to go right now. Every time I get in a room with somebody named Morris, things go bad.
Wow. All right.
No drummer here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we could do that. We were going to play music, but this is far more entertaining. Wow, this is great. All right, let's do it anyway. So we were talking early on about how hard it is to do a Prince cover. You did the next best thing. You didn't even try. But Blackstone Funk Revival, man, that flavor is there.
Yeah.
So good. I think that's better. I think that is so cool. Yeah. So tell me real quick what we're going to say here.
So this is a song which pays homage to that whole sound that Prince.
I remember the first time I heard that stuff when you guys were doing it, I was like, I think that's how I hit him up.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, man, that's dope.
Thank you very much. So this song's called Minneapolis. This is version 2 of it, and it just pays homage to Jesse and everybody who's ever graced that whole, to Morris, of course, and Sheila E. And everybody who's ever,
the whole Minneapolis sound,
whole
man.
sound.
Awesome. Yeah. Nice. All right, let's do it. If you'd like to be considered for airplay on either Soundwaves FM on 1077 The Bone or right here on Soundwaves TV, go to 1077thebone.com/soundwaves. It's kind of like back in the day, scamming your way into a radio station with your demo tape, but never actually having to leave the house.
You guys are crazy, man.
This portion of Soundwaves TV is sponsored by Longboard, the coolest hidden gem on the coast. A world-class music venue with a neighborhood vibe. Stop by for a drink or check out an awesome show. For more information or to get tickets to an upcoming event, go to thelongboardbar.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Soundwaves TV. It is time for the final stretch. We've got one more video on this awesome covers edition of Soundwaves, and I love these shows. I love breaking down what makes a good cover. I love playing things that go against the grain of the original song, because sometimes some real magic emerges, but sometimes it's just pretty awesome when a band captures the essence of the original song and then puts a little bit of their own spin. Of course, we're talking about one of my favorite bands, the Dollyrots, who were in town a couple of weeks ago at the Ivy Room, but you know that because you watch Soundwaves TV. We're going to wrap it up now with their cover of Walkin' on Sunshine. Take it away. The Dollyrots and Walking on Sunshine, bringing it home on Soundwaves TV. And before we wrap up, Mr. Sean Bivens, on one of your songs, Blackstone Funk Revival, you had the one and only Dr. Fink from Prince's band on one of your songs. How did that come together?
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So my drummer, Tony Providence, from a band called Pain and the Blackstone Funk Revival and a lot of other projects. He played with them, I'm going to say it's probably 12 years ago. They did a show together. I don't know if it was a benefit or something like that. And he kept in contact with them. And so when this record came out, we sent it to almost everybody in that camp to get their reaction on it, because we knew we were going to get some people that didn't like it over there, and
that's a scary
not
moment,
a soul.
though.
Not a soul. Didn't like it. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
let me stop that. So you did this total homage to that scene. Are you like a little terrified at that moment that you sent it out, or were you just confident, like, no, this is good?
I was like, hey, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
done now,
All right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So yeah, some of them responded and some of them didn't. So I was just like, whatever. But the guy who responded and gave it the most love was Dr. Finn.
Wow,
So I was like, Tone, you should call Matt back and say, hey, look, man, we got this song, and I'll pull off the guitar solos and let him do his thing on it.
Yeah.
And we sent the track to him. He was like, I love the song. It's dope. It sounds authentic. And he literally sent me back, a wave that was like twice as long as a song, with all these just shredding
Nice.
on his keyboard. He just did it in his room, in his little studio, and he just shredded. And then I chopped it up.
The other one does cry solo.
Man, the head solo.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I was like, this dude shred.
Yeah.
So we just chopped it up and put it in, sent it back to him. He's like, I like it.
Wow, man.
And he killed it.
Awesome.
It literally took him like 2 days or something.
That's awesome.
So the day he got it, and then he recorded it and sent it back.
Doctor.
Sean, you could show up anytime, just tell a story. So I think that'd be fine.
Yes, that'd be a lot of fun.
We can't air them.
Or can we?
We're not on broadcast yet.
On a different network.
Right, exactly. Well, gentlemen, I think that's about it.
Cool.
I'm gonna go, and I think as soon as the cameras go off, we're gonna play the Prince 1999 here in the studio. We couldn't play it during the show because couldn't pay for it, but we're gonna enjoy it, and I hope you had a good time. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. Adios.
Peace.